Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Just Listen to One podcast. I just want to thank each and one of you who keeps coming back and listening to my podcasts. And in this year, let's try to get this channel of my podcast to get hopefully to 500 subscribers, if not more. I want to talk about in this podcast what constitutes a meaningful conversation, and also is if it's healthy to obsess with someone or something. So I'm going to talk about those two topics So let's just do the meaningful conversations right now. It really depends on you and what you feel is important and meaningful. And that's like, it's kind of like a hobby in a way. Like, if something is important to you, of course it has meaning to talk about it. You know, like, to me, it's like important information. And that important information means it has meaning to it. And it's important information to have that conversation with whomever you have a conversation with. So that's just me and my opinion on it. So, for example, having people knowing that I have a dog is important to me because he's a big part of my life. And also, some people are allergic to, pets, dogs and cats and whatnot. So that's another reason why it has a meaning to it, because I don't want nobody to have a allergic reaction, and I want them to be prepared that I have a pet. If you get an allergic reaction, blah, 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 blah. But also, having my dog is a big part of my life because I have him, Photography is another big thing for me, regardless of, it's like a part of who I am. I love photography, and it's what I like to do as for fun and for like a stress thing that calms me down, and it's like a job and a hobby into one, and it's who I am in an artistic way. Just like things like that helps me to, like, it has meaning for me, for people to be aware of when it comes to, things. And it's a good way for people to get to know me and know, artistic side or my serious side, or any, like, just knows, like, part of who I am. And it's like health, when you go to a new doctor and they need to know your health records. Excuse me. Those are like meaningful or important questions or information that they need to know to help you as much as they can. So, like, that's like the best honest answer per se I have for that, like, meaningful conversations. Like, if it's something important to you, I personally feel like it kind of should be important for the other person or other people, so then they can get to know you a little bit better and help you to succeed if it's like your hobby or health or whatever. It can help you a little bit better to get where you want to get kind of thing. I don't know. But, for example, like one of the meaningful conversations with me is not only what I list off with my dog and photography, but like a good conversation is to like talk about going to college. And I have a meeting this Wednesday or today when you guys are listening to this, and I feel like that's an important conversation because, or meaningful conversation, is because then people can support me and guide me, and also to help people know that I have the education and having them to know that I know what I'm doing and I know X, Y, and Z kind of thing. And it, in a way, helps with boundaries too, in my opinion. So that's just me personally. I don't know, but I'm gonna transfer a little bit towards, is it healthy to be obsessed with someone or something? And I want to say yes and no at the same time. I think it depends on a lot of different things, because there's a healthy obsessed and an unhealthy obsessed with that thing or that someone. And it kind of goes back to kind of boundaries a little bit. So, like, if it's gonna affect not only you but other people, it is not a healthy obsession, in my opinion. If up to a certain extent, but if it's like a healthy one, and so, okay, let me go back a little bit. So if someone is obsessed with their weight and keep talking down to yourself, that's an unhealthy obsession. But if it's a healthy one and talk good about yourself and give you better self-confidence, and if it's like in a healthy way and bringing yourself up and eating right and just do it in a positive direction, then it's okay or healthy or good, as long as it's in a healthy way. But for example, if it's like a breakup and you won't leave the other person alone and you're bugging them to come back and just being obsessed, like I don't know if crazy is the right word, but if you're acting crazy and bugging them to come back and harassing them and etc., then no, it's not healthy. If you're around that person 24/7 and except on a short leash per se, that would be an unhealthy thing. It really just depends on the whole picture, at least in my opinion. So, and that sometimes, going kind of back from the meaningful conversations, if certain things, like if someone knows that you're obsessive with your body and trying to work on yourself, that will be a great conversation and a good meaningful conversation to talk about, to help yourself to be a healthy person that you can be. So it just depends on a lot of different things and what's going on and so on. So it just, in my opinion, it really depends on the person. And yeah. I just think it just depends on the whole picture, on what is your meaning conversation, and if it's important for you to bring up then it is meaningful to have that conversation. And rather it's someone that you're obsessed with or something you are. I think, but when it comes to someone like celebrities wise, I think it's a little different, but not at the same time. Like, as long as you're not putting yourself or other people at risk, then it's more on the healthier side than unhealthy. So, yeah, I'm just going to end the vlog. I'm going to end the podcast here. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. And if you guys did, please let me know by liking and subscribing to this podcast, sharing, and please share your favorite podcast so far to a family or a friend. And I will see you next week. Bye.